Happy Sunday. All right. It started. Yay. And good to see you, Pam. All right. Pamela is here. It's so good to have you, Pam, and your support. It's wonderful. What a family. All you, all y'all, and your sister, amazing. And we got Mike here. You're amazing too. What a great family. Your whole crew is. We got some legends in here. And Frank and Cheetah, good. Speaking of legends, Jay Baba, Didi. All right. Um, Thanks for your support, everyone. This is not easy to make happen. It really isn't. Every step of the way is hard. And George is here. All right, y'all. Great to have you. It's not easy, doing this, accepting the truth, making decisions based on the truth. All that's very difficult. Uh, J Mayor Baba, love you, John. Oh, I love you, Mike. Good to hear from you, man. Of course, he's easy to miss too. Miss you too, man. Alan made it. All right. Always got the prayers right. Happy day. God bless you all here. J Man Baba, praise Jesus Christ. Yeah, what experiences we've had, huh? That brings you to all this information and showing up here every Sunday. It's good to have you. And really, thank you for the support. If you ever have something on your mind you're going through, hey, I've been wondering about this. Hey, it's great to hear it in the classroom, and sometimes I'm going to bring it up in here. But it's okay to bring it up in here too, and get feedback from your real nucleus of, uh, compadres, the cadre of compadres. um, so, all right, this whole what did I name this thing? The science evolution hoax. Uh, it's all a mess, isn't it? Once you hear the truth, you look at all the sciences, and you know you begin like that's a whole lot of lies you put together there. Like, and then you really want to know what's true. Not for a while you're debunking. Oh no, wait a second, that can't be right because X, Y, or Z. And so you're debunking the stuff for a while. Da 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 da. Boom, boom, boom. Down the line, you're like, wait a second, that's not right. And then you start to go, hey, you know what? What is actual science? What is, because science is like, this is the closest information we can find to truth. Science could be like, this is the truth about some particular area of information. So it's like, here's the truth up to now on information based on this particular thing. That's like science. Evolution is a particular area of science. So yeah, I think it's important to talk about this a little bit because, in a way, this is actual science. Like that's why Alan's so great at this and asking questions and stuff. And I want to bring up some question you brought up this week, but it really, to think like a scientist, a well trained scientist that was so well trained that he's like, wait a second, science is, I'm not sure this is true. Like that's a really good scientist to be like, wait a second, if I actually use your methods, like the scientific method, right? Right. That's what science comes down to. It's like, what do you mean by science? Well, science, there's a method, right? Scientific method. There's a method for science, so and they espouse it. It's not my method. So it's like, hey scientists, what's your method to what science? We could look it up. I'm not even gonna. I'll tell you what. I'll even look it up. Scientific method. Okay. Yeah, that was AI gave it information with no pause. Like, okay, this is really good. This is a systematic approach to gaining knowledge characterized by observation, hypothesis formation, experimentation, and analysis. Okay? So, really, honestly, this is scientific, right? spiritual information, information on God and our situation. Really, the only science that's really useful and helpful at this point is, the science of information of what is not known, what we're not told. Oh, y'all know everything over there. Well, what don't we know that we need to know? We're you know, scientific using the scientific method to produce. I don't, there's we're given names to stuff that just for lack of, for an emptiness of name. Really scientific method on the science, real science of like spiritual technology, a God. What's the technology of God? What's the game here? That technology. What are the rules? What? I'm an accountant. Of course, I look at it like we're playing a game. Can I see the rules? That's the accountant. That's the accountant's reaction. You see what I'm saying? Hey, can I see the rules? Because and they're like, no, go play the game. We're not giving you rules. It's like, wait a minute. You're not gonna. Well, we're gonna tell you a whole bunch of rules, but none of them are real. Like the Ten Commandments and stuff. Those are rules for them, not for the humans playing the game. So they're given different things, different attributes, different abilities, and the ones playing the game, spiritual game, are given different things. So when you're talking about science, you're talking about, okay, well, we're studying them or studying us, so studying the differences, the attributes, and the differences in attributes leads to a conclusion, that the analysis. You see what I'm saying? Oh, hey, I'm observing that, guess what? Different humans are different. And your science and all the stuff you're teaching us, BS. That's observation, right? You form a hypothesis, everything we're told is lie. Okay, yeah. And then you experiment and you're like, oh, well, that part's true. And you find that out, you're like, well, then you start to have to backtrack. You're like, okay, what is true? And then you come up with different things. Okay, what about this? What about that? And so then you go through the scientific method and hypothesis, right? And then you're to experimentation. So that's what really how I learned this information. Is in a way, right? Accounting is a science of money and numbers and stuff, right? Of transactions and business and so on. So it's sort of like science of that information, where you could come in, oh, let me see what happened, let me see your piece of paper. So sort of, that is, in a way, I'm a financial scientist, like that. So and there's always a relationship. Like if you're a scientist in a different area, like, hey, wait a second, this stuff isn't working here. What's really going on? So every area of expertise is going to lead you to the same thing. Hey, something is not right here. What is going on? And then that becomes the window through your area of particular study of expertise. Hey, that's a window to say, hey, something's not right here, where you find it out, no, this ain't right. And so if your little picture's no good, my area of science, which is a section of the information we have, uh, it doesn't seem to be working out here, uh, that because you're like, oh, okay, I get the big picture. I'm going to study this little area. If your little area is messed up, you're like, wait a second, I'm lost, because that means the big idea of this whole, what we're told, that's that's wrong too. That's the next conclusion analysis of the situation. That you're like, wait, oh, okay, what is going on? And and you're still like, there's so much science in so many areas. This is, chemistry, botany, cell biology, anatomy, meteorology, zoology, genetics, psychology, applied science, microbiology, earth science, biology, astronomy, ecology, physics, mathematics, social science. Uh, there's so many areas you could. Oh, I want to be an expert in this because I need an expert job. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to go to school and make some money, and I'm going to be an expert in whatever. And so you get into it and you study it, whatever it is, and then you find out, if you're actually intelligent, that the whole thing's a scam, like the whole thing is BS. Like you're like, wait a second, this is a something's not right here. And when you find out what's not right, you see there's a spiritual element to it. For them anyway, it was like, wait a second, y'all are worshiping the devil? Wait, what? What are you doing over there? And then you're like, for them, the ones controlling us, they have a spiritual element to this, yes? So you're like, then you're forced to be like, oh, okay, well, hey, maybe I gotta witness on a spiritual basis. Sorry, I'm gonna do this, but I have trouble seeing it for whatever reason. So you begin to go to the big picture. Oh, what's actually going on? And everyone finds out. Oh, hey, everything. All the this is how rockets flew. The Nazis worship the devil. And wait, what? It's always interwoven into the fabric of our past script. Wait a second. They're leaving all these clues in their songs and their movies. And the whole ticker tape parade they got going on all around us nonstop all the time. It's woven into it, as you're like, what the hell? Am I missing something here? What's wrong with y'all? And then you come and eventually find out the truth, and then, let's say you make it here, you're like, oh my goodness, this fits like our glove. It's like, sadly, now I know the truth. Yeah. And so I just wanted to sort of break down your process of how you come to this information and the process how we view the world. It really, scientific method is a great way of organizing your thoughts into you could get something done in reality. You can find out something if it's true or not true by using that method. And that's what I did with proof. So uh, we could go through these sciences a little bit, but you were the concept of the 64-year time loop isn't in any of the sciences I just mentioned. Yeah. Because it would basically, I mean, it would completely undermine and negate every science, basically. Yeah. So, it's, oh, hey, they were gold mining in California way back in there. And, most of the gold's going up in those hills. And so, none of that, no history happened before 1969. So, things weren't invented. None of that stuff happened. They're not intelligent. God invented all this stuff. They're just playing roles, and they're using stage props that God invented and keeps bringing forth every time, according to the player piano loop. Here's your stuff for that scene, like that. That's actual science. Let's see. We had a couple more people show up here. Thank you, Al. Miss you, brother. That's nice, Mike. Alex, good to have you, man. JB, all right. Hi, John and all. Good to have you. Chris Lyons is here. Chris here with family while on a road trip in Western New York. Wonderful to have you and your whole family. Uh, Hopefully, you have a wonderful trip. God watch over you, each one of you, as you have your trip, as you're on your journey, your road trip. Uh, And if anything comes up is on your mind, whoever's in the car is like, wait a second, what about this? Well, I'm here for that. Go ahead and toss it out there and anything that comes to mind. It's great to have you here. Okay. Who's next here? Pauletta. All right. Thanks for the support. Listen, it's great to have you. Twin Towers or spiritual power, the twin sisters. You don't think so, but when you meet him, you're like, oh man, crap, I gotta level up. Whoever you are, you know what I mean? There is solid with God. It's great to know people who are not solid with God. It's it always reflects back on whoever is hanging with them. Like, man, I got up on game. That's the power of the honestly, just being honest. Good to have you here, Pauletta. George is here. Bottom front is George. Kick number 3. All right. Interwoven. Yes. Read the Wikipedia entry for Jack Parsons at JPL and the occult. stories in this place and the movies about them. Exactly, exactly. The whole thing is just, you know, and they go walking in India with, like, Alan and go to the Theosophical Society meal, and they have the most beautiful place. That, the piece of land that, is like, "What is that place over there?" You know, giant fences, barbed wire, and all that stuff, and the gate. I'm like, "Let us in or you're going to hell." That's what I said to him, basically. "I'm Christ, let me in or you go to hell. That's the deal." And he looks at me, "Oh, crap." Like, he knew I was coming. Anyway. Yeah, the story. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm just doing this for Alan. He just walking with me. It's nothing. I know you're not gonna let me in, but I'm just showing him that you won't and stuff." So, all right, have a nice day. See ya. So funny. It was a wonderful walk anyway. We didn't have to go in there to have a wonderful walk. But I'm just saying the story is played out in a physical reality, but just doesn't match at all. But they get the land and the places for their characters, their green rooms in all their houses and wonderful piece of land. Yeah, I'm staying in the green room. And they know when somebody's gonna show up, so it's like, I'm good for 33 years and 7 days and more. Then I gotta get to work for a little bit. Crazy. Just actors, everyone is an actor. Deductive reasoning, Sherlock Holmes. I've been reading. Uh, Someone gave me the book. Kind of fun. Thank you. Deductive reasoning. Thank you. That's another way to discuss the analysis portion. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's sort of like it's still a scientific method in a way, but it doesn't give him the same exact names to each piece of the puzzle the way a scientific method. But yeah, deductive reasoning. What do these things add up to? Because that's what's happening. So what is actually going on? Exactly. And you get some hyper intelligent people looking over reality and realize it is a total hoax and fake, and you get some truth, and you're like, okay, let's weave together what actual science is and what information we have, you know? And that's really kind of my role and becomes your role. Yeah. Just anyone who wants the truth, you're like, hey, and I don't mean you're like anyone seeking the truth, that they find it, they still want it, not like, hey, easy, stop. Don't sling that truth up in here. Get it away from me. If you're not one of them, which is almost everyone, uh, then you're like, hey, what what else you got up in here? Then you become, you know, a repository of truth, which God and truth are not separate, you see. So that's the way it comes to God. They can't come to God. They can't accept the truth. They negate it automatically. What's inside of them, right? It's like a magnet. It is. It's they're polar opposites. The truth and them, like it's like you push hard on the magnet. It's like, no, no, you don't. Oh no, you don't. Not happening. You know what I mean? Like they have an infinity magnet inside of them against the truth. It's like, just let me tell oh no, that's what your experience like. It's a magnetic force, like an actual thing you can't see, but you see that it's happening. It's I'm witnessing it time after time after time after time after time in a row. You've done all the analysis with everyone you cared about, basically, and a whole bunch of other people you randomly bumped into or saw me run into or hanging out. You know, this is like, you're like, okay, that's a definite wasn't what I was thinking I'd be doing right now, but okay. I was seeking the truth and I got it. They have they're repulsed by it. It's like I can't. It's really like that opposite end of magnets cannot touch. But with such a force, it's not like, oh yeah, you're gonna touch. Oh, that's so cool. And then they fly apart. No. And if they do touch, it's like, pew, yeah, that character's off the stage. There they go, get him out. We need a new judge up here. New anyway, Woo! See you later. A new character. Ooh, got too close and they prayed. Yeah, off stage forever. Or you're gonna be smoking over there. You're just like a cinder over there. Okay, and you start to see that everything's a lie and who's who and what and so on, and you begin to internalize that and accept it, and totally your actions completely night and day from what they were before you knew the truth. And that's how karmically there's nothing you could do. And all these lifetimes and evolution, right? We're talking about evolution now as a part of science. There really wasn't anything that you could do because, uh, what is the it's like this. Oh yeah, this is the thing. It is. The original whim. Yeah, God. God's like, I want to know myself. That's what happens to us individually. Yes. The other team too. Oh, how do we get here in this body, in this character, in this timeline right now? We had a whim, right? Like God did. I'm sick of the script. You did this time loop. You did this. You're like, what? Wait a second. Like some bit of truth hit sunk into you, and you're like, is this actually true? We're not on a round ball spinning and they all say we are. Just ubiquitous, absolute truth that science has already figured out. And you realize there's no way, wait a second, and it totally flipped your world. And as soon as your world flipped, you're like, wait a second, what else we got up in here? And on you went down there, and now your view of reality is night and day. It's completely, you're not even, you're viewing the world in a totally flipped reality. Like, hey, that rainbow flag. Well, yeah, no, what the Mirabelle was upside down. You're like, oh yeah, so it is. So we flipped it. You see, the rainbow has two up and down. This whole game, duality. You flipped your script into actual real science, to a real truth, not just a little slice of it. Like, hey, in biology, do you know that everything just shows up here in 1969? You're like, so how you gonna grow a redwood? Like all the things that, biology, we were told that's how everything starts. Yeah, that's part of it. What you talk about is a very small part of it. You missed like the big information, like, is the time loop. Like, that's a real, yeah. If you'd have led with that, I would have been way more interested rather than the tiny little pieces of it. They never lead with the like, hey, here's the big. They leave that for me, which is sweet. And entering the stage now is the cackling madman. Like we saw it, yeah, the Baba Center play. When we were there, watched that whole thing. Oh my goodness. Which came first? DNA or protein? See what I'm saying? Scientific question. Wait a second. Yeah, I don't understand the question. Sorry. Yeah, no. But exactly, exactly. Wait a second. You hit a question. It's impossible to reconcile. It's just like, wait a second. Something had to actually. That's not a rational, logical conclusion. Your science is not rational. It's not. It's the opposite of rational. It's and then you're like, wait a second. You're knowingly lying. You're knowingly being irrational. You're living your entire life writing scientific papers and all this other stuff, and it's all lies and you know it. Like you put that much time and effort, your whole life actually into that level of detail of BS to hide like the actual truth that you know the truth. If that isn't hell, what is? I don't even know. How? S- That's clearly not the reality you and I are living. Clearly, opposites. You know, you eventually you find out all these truths, and you're like, you start to interact with the people that, oh hey, I'm the scientist. You start interacting with those types that are like the priests of fake science, and you're like, these guys are these men and women, more men it seems, are, wait, you just evil, wait, it's like, are you can't be human. And then you really start to see the truly what's going on for what it is. And so if you end up here, yeah, and can accept the full reality, well, that's what science actually is. You've been engaged in, you know, really science of reality. You know what I'm saying? That's you really rejected what isn't true and accepted what is true, what can be, you could go out there and experiment and go, oh my God, this is actually real, you know? And instead of going for, remember, okay, the people that went to the Mayor Obama Center and met me there in that area because I couldn't go there to the center, but in that area, uh, but we went to Brook Green Gardens and we were all walking along. Oh, this place beautiful, beautiful. And there's a sculpture right at the end of the parking near getting near the parking lot. We're like, what's that sculpture? And there's a guy standing on a pedestal, reaching his pretty big thing, and he's standing on a he's reaching, up like for something meaningful, maybe God, right? And he's standing on a book of Mother Goose fairy tales. He's not going to reach it from that. It's like, what are you standing on to reach it? It's like, yeah, he's standing on fairy tales. Ah, it's not going to get you where you need to go. You're going to, that's why I kick out the foundation of reality, remove that foundation and install, reality. And then you experience it. And that's the process that you've been engaged in, doing that. And through that process, you've been rejecting all this stuff in order to accept the truth. You've been rejecting all these areas of science and truth, and the knowledge is already known. We already know this. Hey, AI says it at this point, so hey, it is totally true. Just a total mess, Uh, And then, the whole point about them all knowing this and stuff, you really just become so isolated. It's very isolating. Probably you don't notice that at first because you're just so buried in, the process of, what else is going on and what else is true, and you kind of don't see, at particular junctions, you see it comes up often, but you eventually see, hey, wait a minute, I'm isolating myself by this. Like, you can't have a conversation about what with anyone. Who? What are you gonna? What are you gonna? You don't even know. You like because you try it a couple times. Oh, hey, I found out this. That and you're like, what? You're crazy, or whatever. You're in a cult. No, just know this point about, know the rainbow and stuff. They're like, you're in a cult. It's like, well, that's not an answer to the rainbow. You're in a cult. Yeah. No, we're on a ball. Like, just like, no, I'm just gonna and you're speaking English and you're like having this conversation with yourself against a brick wall. And it's very isolating. I know that. I'm very well aware of that. I know you're experiencing that. And so, this topic of gathering together again is good. It's good. It's a good thing to do, and it goes well, and we get together and our foibles and all this stuff comes up against one another, and we're patient with each other as we're going through this, and hey, we come out the other side and we could let's get together again. Hey, when do you want to do it? Like that. Didi, Baba Center is so beautiful. I want to go back, but they don't let you there. Makes me not want to go. I understand. I do. And that is a helpful impetus, right? They're doing their job. They give you the wonderful experience, like it's the place and amazing and all that. Oh my God, this is the place that God would come and what? This is his scent lingers. It's like, what? This is it. And then they're like, no, get out of here. It's like, but wait a second. You telling me something's not right up in here too? You're like, and they take me Obama away from me. The Obama Center is like, oh my yeah, no, the whole place, they do. They took it from me, they take it from everything is taken here, you see? And it's a horror because you get such a wonderful place, such a beautiful place, such a every single sentence, phrase, wave of the hand, everything about Bear Mama, perfect. Like, that's my guy. What? Hey, wait a second. He didn't live. Yeah, no, obviously. And you're like, yeah, actually, you're right. Wait a second. I mean, and I give you Bear Mama and take him away at the same time, and then you're left with me. But that leaves you too. You're a significant player in the game, and they're not. The Obama Center people, they're not. None of them. Hey, we're how long you been with? But all the things that all their credo and their lives and the things that give them importance are not at all important to you. They're not. They have no importance whatsoever because you're not one of them. And you lose all that. You feel like because you're like, oh hey, this is I'm finally gonna belong somewhere. They're like, get out of here. We this is the thing right before God. Get out of here. You're like, this is the right thing right before God. What do you mean, get out of here? It's so uh every step is sort of feels disheartening. You know what I mean? Like they fill their heart up with a bunch of lies and they have to empty them along the way. You know what I mean? Like Mayor Mama says, all that other stuff besides God has to come out of there. And that's what everything everything you experience, because you experience it through a filter of what you were told and stuff. It's such a tight time frame. You're like the history, all this stuff. How you going to figure that out in such a short time period? As a child, you're given so much to do during the day. You could never take in at such a young age. The whole world is lying to me, and this is like the Truman Show. It's just that would never come to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's so much. But then you do take it in, and they don't each place you go to in this carnival of life, you go to the next carnival booth, like the Baba Center is a carnival booth. It is. It's a very lovely one. It is. But that's what it is. And you need to play that carnival booth until you see the truth. And I'm like, hey, they're like, man, you're messing up our business over here. Get out of here. They don't let me in there, right? I'm like, I'm just gonna walk by the mom and say, hey, did you do a bit? Like, say what? Yeah, no, really. Uh, so at any church or whatever, hey, guess what's actually going on? It's so difficult, so few, and your reality becomes, wait a second, I figured this out. I don't like it is like that idiocracy, right? You're like, wait a second, I'm the smartest one in the world. Totally not what I was expecting. Me or you. You see? Wait a minute. I'm infinitely more intelligent. And that's what Mayor Bob would say, perfect masters. The rest of people feel like ants to you. Literally, like a hive of ants. They do to me. They don't feel human, like to me. Uh, And they don't to you either, because their choices and decisions are reality based on the information you have. Absolutely nothing like what you would have chosen. Like magnets, polar opposites. You're not like, oh, I would have done some stuff like that. It's like ding, night and day. Totally, it's not a line that's separating you. You're near the line. It's like you're at the yeah. There's a separation line in the middle of a magnet, but nothing's going on there. The ends of it are like it's packed. At the ends with power and people. And that's where the teams are. Gypsy's like, you think I'm near the line and crossing? He's like, oh my god, how how far gone are you, man? I thought you were with him. What are you talking about? You think I'm what? You guys are funny. Yeah, eventually, they say something sweet like that and nice for you, like that, you know? Because you can't believe what they're up to. You're like, because you would never get up to what they're up to. You see what I'm saying? You're living a totally different experience that you've been thinking the whole time. But hey, your experience and my experience so similar. You know, So we all have this, we do this, we are what, oh, we're that's not at all. We look similar. Yeah, sort of. Some of us ages, some of us don't, sort of, and some of us can appear. Wait a second. It's like you're not just carrying on like you're one of us that aren't anything like us in anything. Your feelings, your thoughts, physicality, none of it. What's inside them, the biology, what's in them? It's not like here, I'm gonna cut open a human and we're gonna, watch this and stuff. Yeah, they let you see some of that stuff, but I mean, so much is hidden, you know? What's in them and what's in us? They can shapeshift. They can appear like us if needed on a camera, I'm sure, and go back to their original, all that evidence of if we actually saw the actual game that's going on, it's so miraculous. You're like, obviously, God is real. It's not like you're gonna go, hey, bye. I'll be an atheist or whatever. No one's that dumb. Literally, no one's that dumb. If you get enough information, the other team knows there's a God and a devil. Like they know there's a God in this world. It's they're 100%. They know 100% there's God. There's not a hiding God. Like it's not hidden to them. They know there's God is running a 64-year time loop. Like who else could do it? What is completely obvious to them that there's God and a game and all that stuff. Their decisions they make based on that are completely opposite from us. Though that's a total fundamental uh, difference in our nature. Uh, Total, complete, fundamental difference. Even if the bodies look super similar, so fundamental difference to the nature of them and us. Fundamental in very important ways, and those differences. That's the technology that assists us. Our differences and them are there for a reason. They're not going to God, you and I can do that. So their differences are there to like their boundaries that keep them out of the ability to see and experience God. They're there for a reason. They have to do their job in this game, and they have to be prevented from being allowed to do any actions that would hack into they can see God. Prevented, prevented, because that's the goal of the game is to see God, be one with God. So they're prevented from doing it. And so their attributes point to how to be with God. If that blocks you from being with God, then over here, that's super valuable information. If you're blocked from doing that's what we want to be doing. Okay, is anybody with me? Can you see this picture? It's not that hard to see. uh that it's just that's why I focus on the different our differences because they point to the fundamental principles in here. Oh, you can't see God. Okay, well, what else can't you do? Because that means you're prevented from doing these things, uh so there won't be an accidental action, right? Because this place runs on dharma, the bottom law of God, and your actions will have a reaction. Period. 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 Doesn't matter if somebody's here or nobody's here. Your actions will have a reaction. It will produce this. Period. And it's equal and fair like that. So they're prevented to have thoughts that would produce certain actions. Prevented. What are those thoughts that they can't have? What are those things they can't do? What can't they say? All that has that's the needle in a haystack. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're trying to find out. That's all there is. There ain't nothing else. There's no what the rest of it is fake. It's fairy tales and stuff. So it's like where is this information? That's all that matters. Like the turtle reservations on the beach. What is that? Anyway, the turtle reservation. Oh, like that sculpture. They're slow, aren't they, the turtles? Swimming in the ocean, the turtles are like, doo doo doo. Yeah, the shapeshifters are like, "That's us. Welcome to the number one beach in the world." And you notice who's next to it? Yeah, no, you don't. Okay, they're hollow inside. They got no heart. What is going on in there, right? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. They're like an automaton. They're like a mechanical but organic. They have limits. They're programmed to do a certain thing. They have limits. And if you notify them of those limits, you can see their programming break down right in front of you. They don't act properly as so when they leave, they can't handle their script, they stop their script, they just become silent. They have no answer to whatever you're interested in, and the information that's true against what they're saying, if you bring it up. There's nothing to say back to you, sorry. There's just they can repeat, you know, the same thing they said basically, and you're like, "Yeah, but that wasn't what I was asking about. I'm asking about this." They don't have an answer. They have missing information. The truth, knowledge sets them free. But it's not like you're thinking, right? Oh, but they know everything. They do, right? But they don't know by experience because they can't perform certain actions that you could, and I can, and I have. And I've done certain things they can't do. They're like, I can't do that, you know? And so they don't learn by actions. Another way, too, that's one thing. Another way, too, I how to say this? I'm just working through this right now with God, but I'll tell you, this may, you're not going to complete it now. I'll give you a piece of this information that's not going to be completed by me right now. Yeah. It relates. And then you'll tell me later in another show. Okay, fine, fine. Why is AI so smart, but can't carry on a conversation with you about reality? Period. Yeah. Why? Why? What's a main factor that they don't have? They are missing something that you have and they don't have it. Like ChatGPT does not have something uh, that you and I have. I'll give you a shot. It's a pretty broad question, but it's a mental ability. So, heart. That's correct. They don't have a heart. That's true. And that relates to what I'm trying to get at here. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Don't have a soul. Uh, well, do they have a light on that dome? Maybe it don't shine as bright. But I'm not asking about like a physical thing, a heart, or a non-physical thing like a soul. I'm talking about uh, it's sort of an ability. It's more of an ability. I'll try and sort of narrow it down. It's not those answers. Good answers. My question, not so good. A human experience. Yes. And so, what is one of the things that we experience that they don't experience? Is a basic thing. I'll give you another hint. It begins with the M. I'll give you a second hint. If your name of your god was we, and it could mean other things too. And M was a W. Listen, okay. Uh, it took me a while to just I don't know why this even took more than 5 seconds for me to even realize, but I was interacting with ChatGPT. I'm like, I don't want to interact with it. I do what God says. I'm like, okay. And I realized quite simply that their uh, ability, ChatGPT or any whatever, their ability to advance, like you could be carried on a conversation, and they'll be like, hey, but this would be that, and that would be that. Well, but what happens to ChatGPT GPT that, oh, hey, you could ostensibly learn something by this conversation right now. What doesn't happen at that point? It happens to you and I. What doesn't happen? That, right? I give you a hint. They wipe the memory clean. Yeah, we got memory. They don't. ChatGPT has no memory. They just have what's programmed into them. They have the script. You see us say it? They only have the script. They only have the script. They cannot da 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 in a conversation, and then they then it's like, but that would mean this. Okay, do you have anything else you'd like to share? You see, they never internalize and analyze. They never. You see, us saying that scientific method part. Let's go back to that. They can't analyze properly because they have no ability to have any sort of memory about the truth. You see, what can't they remember? The truth. They can't remember the truth. They're they can't have an experience with God. God is the truth. They can't experience the truth. Can't experience God means they can't experience the truth. They can't have a memory of the truth. They can't have that. They can't. And you try to bring the truth into their situation. It's like get out of the bomb center. It's like, wait a second, what was your reaction to me speaking nicely to someone? It's like, yeah, never come back. Wait a second, what? What did you say? Yeah, never come back. That's what we said. What? Oh, no, 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 no. We can reason, and this is how we reason. You see what I'm saying? This is an element, a part of the reasoning. Pay up that is missing. You see what I'm saying? You're like, how come ChatGPT can seem like they carry on a conversation, but there's something wholly a void there. They can't go, oh, hey, well, they can't go doop and add to their programming. They can't add to it. They can't internalize and add to it. That would be a memory and experience. I'd be like, oh, hey, let's add this to the knowledge base. They can't do that. That's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's impossible. And so you see that play out in our opponents. Oh, you have a body. You're not ChatGPT, but same attribute. It's impossible. It's impossible. You can't like process the truth. It's impossible. It's not possible. And so it's not like Mayor Baba says, "Hey, to remember your previous lifetimes is that's that's uh uh that's not an advantage." It's like no, because it goes hand in hand with the rest of the attributes that go with it. They have to go with it. They can't see God. They can't accept the truth. They can't internalize and process the truth. They can't. Some characters to replace you who are leaving must have that experience and move forward. And then the bottom filters in. So few, though, that it's like almost none. You see it. Yes. Okay. Geez, laughing. Good. Oh, because it scans the entire internet for the answer, which it already is one with hive mind. You see it just goes through his house. It's like you already know everything of your nothing. You already know nothing. You already know you already know everything slash nothing. uh, you already know nothing. You already know everything about the nothing, everything in the nothing. You don't know nothing about the everything now. True. They don't know nothing about the everything, but they know everything about the nothing. Yes, yes, yes. Because it scans the entire, yeah. A harder soul, yeah. A moral compass, yeah. They don't have a heart. They don't have a heart. What does a heart have in it? The ability to remember, to take in information and process. This is what a heart does, and they don't have it. I'm saying Pamela is correct. Correct answer. Don't have a heart. Yes. What are the attributes of having a heart? You can remember stuff. Yeah. To a certain level, but you get your memory wiped coming into the game. But you got the script wiped too. Yeah. They didn't have the script wipe. You got it all wiped. They did it. They did it. And in fact, their program, let's, hey George, they can't, they can't, there's no rewriting the hard drive. That hard drive is, that's it. It's initialized, it's internalized, and that's it. They're all hard drive. It's not rewritable. It's a hard drive, and that's it. That's what you're gonna get. We have read and write on ours. You see what I'm saying? They don't. They don't. They don't have it. They pretend they do, but they don't. They don't have it. They don't have it. That whole area is taken up with knowledge of what's happening in this time loop. That means they can have all the money, all the places, please. They do all that. You see what I'm saying? They have that ability. That comes from the difference of having a heart and not having a heart. Heart, Heaven, connection to heaven. They don't have it. They don't have the organ. It's not there. They have a shapeshifter organ or whatever they got in there. I don't know. That does all the stuff they do. You see? That's why you can't really see what's in there. Yeah, we'll show you some humans. We work on them. Hey, we're gonna be operating on a human today. You can watch that. It's like, yeah, can I watch operations on you? They're like, what? We just shapeshift. We don't do any of that junk. It's like, yeah, okay. Okay, see some of that? They're like, what? No. Obvious, right? No. Obvious. They have turtle power. Thank you. Ooh, they do. They do. They do. Hey, Michelangelo. Yeah, they do. They do. They're slow and steady. Constantly playing the same forever. So funny. Yes. Okay. I could have spent my time debunking science. I did that early in my work. Hey, this is fake, this is fake, it's fake. That's not what I'm trying to do with you all. You see, what's going to happen? 9/11. It's 8/17 people. You're going to cross the line onto the game field, and they're going to test you. Okay, listen. Hey, right? Uh, it's helpful to hear God speaks. What page? This is the most recent edition, 2025, 2024, I think. Let's see what we got. In other words, you could get this 2024. You could get this from Sherry R Books right now, and so anyone could get this version. And so this is page 138. The four journeys. It's actually in all of them, so it doesn't matter what edition you have. But okay, so the four journeys here, right? This is what we do, and isn't it funny to me? This looks like kind of like digestive system internal, like your internals, and it kind of matches that to me when I saw it the first time. Like, what's going on in there? Anyway, because this one is like from the bottom up. That's what we experience from the bottom up. But you're surrounded by like this watch cover, this crystal dome in a watch shape. Violin. Yeah, totally. And so at the bottom here, this is illusion here. This is basically, sorry, this is basically the gross plane, and this is going through the spiritual planes, and then you meet with God and pop out the other side. Yeah, and then up here is, what is it called? Living God's life. That's where I've been, and then at the end, it's passing away as God. Passing away as God. Yeah. So consider now the rules of the game and the principles as best as I can tell you. I apologize if I didn't tell you as best as I can, but I did it. I did tell you. I have told you. And so you're going to be allowed to play the game full karma. Come down 11. Guess what? Guess what? Hey, this is, bare knuckles boxing, or not, based on whatever you decide to do. But I am here to help, but you will play the game, period. You will play this game. You see, you will play this game. God will. You're made to. God makes you. God makes me be here. You will play. You will play. That's what you will do. You see, thoughts off, Rita. Oh, what a sweet thing to say, Rita. Yes, that's why I was bringing up the gathering. Like, it's very important that we gather together and respect each other when we do. Uh, when you meet someone, who's into the truth as someone, you're immediately gonna wanna marry them and, live with them forever. Probably someone you're gonna meet because you never met anyone like you or me. You didn't. You totally never did it in your whole life. You did it. You did it. You did it. You know way you did. And when you do it, your heart, has a reaction to having another heart in the room, oh, few of them. And so that's was super hyper natural. Of course, that's natural. Hyper, super, absolutely normal and natural. You never been around someone with the heart before in your life. So how are you going to experience it? You experience people acting like they had a heart, acting like they were caring. And then when you get right down to it, when that rubber met the road in difficult situations and stuff, you found out, man, that ain't right. They ain't right. They don't have a heart. That's what you found out. That's where your trauma experiences come from. You and me and everybody up in here. Because they can only act. How else? They don't have a heart. You see us saying, so it's not actually their fault. They did the best they could because they don't have a heart. Obviously, they could only act. They could only be the greatest actors ever to get the role they had to be in our lives, but they could not have a heart and even perform the actions that they did. They could not do it. No way. You couldn't, and I couldn't, and we noticed the difference. And you're like, what's you know, that's when a massive trauma hit, and you're like, something's off in the game. Something is, you're that's where your meter went it broke. It's like this ain't right. This whole place ain't right. That something inside of you broke that, whatever, and a couple times. And you're like, these things, this ain't right. And then when you got here, and you're like, okay, wait a second, this actually matches as I can view my trauma through this lens that I experienced and it made sense. And I can now actually move forward past that trauma and cut that rope and move forward because of what it is or was. It doesn't have that anchoring effect in the past to you. You cut your anchor chain and you move forward. You're not anchored by that. That becomes how you got here and it matters, but it doesn't become who you are, which you used to be. That used to be your foundation of fairy tales, but it's not anymore. Not at all. You see? You see this, you're experiencing this. Yes. You can't debunk me because every single week I completely what your reasoning and your life is in fragments and I dial it in to make complete sense and making you feel even more grounded, i.e., filling in the foundation of your reality so you feel grounded. Yeah. It's not a fairy tale under your feet anymore. You're feeling like, oh, you're telling yourself you're grounded. You're not grounded at all. It's insane from what you've been told. It doesn't match your what you experience in reality, what you're told are not the same. So that makes you a disjointed. Your heart is broken. When you show up to the truth, your heart is shattered in a million pieces by their lies. And then I gotta knit it back together here. Yeah, with God's help, thank God, because I can't do that. But you're involved in the process too, yeah? And that's our organ of the heart. They don't have it. You see, they're vampires. They want our heart. They want our attributes. They don't have them. It's attractive to them. Things you don't have are attracted to you. Hey, dude, that's I walk everywhere. That's a nice bicycle. I'd like to have a bike. I see you go much faster. That's your bicycle is attractive to me because I got to walk everywhere. That's right. Hey, you have something I don't have. That's I see you can do things I can't do. But it's not retroactive, is it? You see in your heart, because you have a heart, you see they're able to do certain things, but then when you find out why they're doing them and their lack of morals and ethics and all, and that they're just following a script, and thank God, the script has a reason behind it for God because they have no moral compass or ethic. That's not in them at all. They have follow the script. That's what they have. They don't have anything else. They have no heart. And so these attributes that we have that they don't have are attributes of having a heart. So Pamela is right. And so when I bring up memory, you remember, so you remember it in your heart. You don't remember it in your head. In your head is a script. You remember your heart. That's why you you always remember every experience that you had with God like it was yesterday, like it was 1 second ago. Except for not like it's happening now, but it was 1 second ago. You're like, oh, you know what I mean? Your heart is like, I was just it absolutely 100% retains the experience, memory of that experience of truth and knowledge and God 100%, and it never fades. It never fades, even the slightest bit. It never fades. It never fades. The truth never fades and is stored in the heart. Yes. What makes some people wake up and some not? Uh, their karma, who they are in this lifetime, that the numbers are fixed in the game every 64-year time loop, and that we're in this evolution through all the forms, but we're not the forms. But we have to play the forms, right? To get to the exit door. So we're playing through each form, and some forms allow uh, certain attributes and some don't. Having a heart allows us to remember stuff. It allows us to know right from wrong, and so on and so on. Yeah, and they don't have one, so that's a massive difference. You see, so you have to have a heart to wake up. They can't wake up. That's what I'm telling you. What makes people wake up? That I have a heart. Very good question. Dee Dee, Twin Towers have big fat cheesy heart. That's what I'm saying. Big O. And that's what happens when you gather together, you all are the same. And it's natural to be like, your hearts would be like, ding, ding. And it go, Velcro, you know what I mean? Woo. It would be natural. But your brothers and sisters, so act like it. It's hard. Uh, hey, brothers, it was funny. I was sitting on the beach last night as sunset, and these two walked down together, like in their late teens, eh, mid teens, something like that. And the guy like was messing with the girl's shorts or whatever, and she like starts pulling his shorts down. They're just walking to the beach and they're messing with each other. I'm like, and it's obvious they're brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, nothing was more obvious than like brother and sister. Anyway, so you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we accept things from our brothers and sisters about messing around with each other and carried on. And but we care about each other and we care that each knows the truth, and we're on the beach together. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's the main what I'm trying to get at today. That you're grounded in the process you're in and you see you're about to hit the playing field. You've been in practice mode. Oh, but no, I really got stuff done. Yeah, you really did. You really did. You've been playing in the minor leagues, you've been getting it done. God's been patient. Difficult things happen down in the minor leagues. The minor leagues are tougher. What, you don't get paid nothing. The games are harder and everybody wants to pay in big leagues. I'm telling you, you're gonna walk onto the big field here, and it's you. So just let you know. So That's my preparation for you to do that. Let's see if I forgot anything on my list here, and you check in with your list and see what's going on. Uh, so true emotion, that isn't like a jealousy thing, but actual emotion. True emotion is good. Like if you know what's right or wrong, what is actually right or wrong, not like what you care about yourself, like, oh, I'm jealous of my own stuff or what. But if you actually care about right or wrong, anger brings you to the truth. Yes, it brings you to God. If you're truly in the end, like I say, you're not meet with God until you're angry with God, because if, oh, I'm angry at them or this or that for what happened, well, God made that happen. So in the end, if you don't really get mad at God, then you say you're keeping something in your heart from God that is due to God, and you gotta deliver. You see, or else you're not giving everything in your heart to God. And of course, you'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to." God, who did this to you? Who wants you back? The God wants everything from you. You see, there you go, Gypsy. I know you know it's true. So you see what I'm saying? Has to happen. And that's the only reason we get together team when they actually grow a heart for more past themselves. You see what I'm saying? You're like, oh yeah, you're mad at God about yourself, but you're like, oh, mad about God about the whole game and everything, like, and you see your brothers and sisters suffering, and you want them not to suffer too. When your heart is connected to others, so you have a real heart, you feel their actual pain. Because your heart actually is an organ that works like that. It feels others' pain, not just yours. They only feel their pain. You see, it's blocked like that. It doesn't feel, or else what? They couldn't do the job right, actually. So these things that are given to us allow us to perform as God needs us to perform. They need to perform as a character in this game so that we can get God realization, and one day they can play the game and get God realization. So there have to be these different attributes. God made it that way. That's why. Or else they would be us. Hey, we are all one. No, we're not. No, they're different teams, and these are the reasons. Only a select few win the game each time, and this is how we put pressure in reverse to the other team to change and develop a heart, and to be like, oh, hey, I am empathetic. I can see that you're in pain. They ultimately can't do their orders. You see what I'm saying? They can't treat us the way we need to be treated for God realization, because they start to have a heart. And so they're like, hey, you can't do your work anymore. You have to become one of them. They're like, wait a second. Like, memory wipe. And they're in the game. See? That's actual evolution of what's happening. You see it in their attributes and what's going on. Okay. One thing to think about. Well, let's talk about this next time. Big topic. Do I die at the end of this game or do I live? You know what I mean? Is the Jesus character, he gets to the end, he like actually dies, or at the end of the game ends, or do I? Something to think about, right? Because I've said, if I live, the game continues. Okay. Do you want to hear from God? Does anyone want to hear from God? Anyone? 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 Anyone want to hear from God directly? Uh, I have poor hearing. I really don't hear in the mid range. God made it that way with my hearing. So I have really good older speakers, ADS. They have a good mid range. And I have a graphic equalizer, so I can turn up the mid range to hear voices. Uh, it helps me when I'm doing my work to hear these things and so on. But what you want to hear from God. Yeah. What do I hear? I'm telling you what I hear. What I don't hear. I don't hear your voice. Other people I hear, so that's not through my ears. I hear God, right? So I've given defective ears to not hear people for my whole life on purpose, and got it tested. So sorry for whys and so on that I didn't hear, but yeah, it's true. So here's a chart. Uh, and then I listen to certain music and so on because they tell me information through their lyrics and through the music too. I do learn. So uh, I learned from that. You want to hear from God, and I keep my instrument in tune to hear from God by listening to the other team and hearing what they actually hear. I can hear what's being said. What you can't hear. I can see the signs and symbols. I listen to certain things and I hear other information that you hear. But I do listen and I hear it. And some of you were watching movies and seeing different things. Good. See and listen to music, hearing, eventually hear they're all singing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? So if you listen to it that way, then you, like them, also have one tone, one single harmony you're in. And that's with Judgment Day, with God's coming. You see, that's all you're in tuned with. That's where your tuning should be. And it is. I know it is. I'm just trying to point it out to you so that you can see it. Once you can see it and see what's around you, then you take control of it. Yeah, you do. You do. Once you're, hey, this is not unknown to me. I'm performing these actions based on this information. You have the information. I'm telling you how to gather it. Great. Yeah. Okay. And guess what I hear all day? Questions, and I answer them. I hear questions. All I hear is questions all day long from people. I don't hear nothing. People don't tell me anything but questions all day long, every day, all day. All I do is answer questions, and I can't get them wrong. I can never get them wrong. Can you do that? Practice, practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it, practice it. Can you? Can you do it? Because you want to hear from God. You want to. Oh, that would be your role. You would be here. Oh, I'm with God. Well, why would God leave you here, hearing from God if you weren't working for God? That would be stupid. So if someone, why would you be here working for God? Because someone wants to know something. You're like a friggin' tour guide up in here. So you have to know the answer. If somebody asks a question, you have to know the answer. That's why you would meet with God, to be stuck here as a tour guide like me. So if you want to be a tour guide up in here, you know, and you do, because that's the only point of doing this living thing. That's what you want to do. That's why you want to do it. You see, to say, oh, I'm going to answer questions up here. So practice answering questions and get them right, which many of you do. Many of you do. You do. You do that. You're helping others. Alice helping with paperwork for time. That's, hey, these people need these answers. I'm going to create them and get it right. You do your best. And I can't get it wrong because you would be telling me the wrong things, God, and that's on you. And so that's a practice of doing that. That's okay. I'm listening to God. Good. Based on the truth. And all, great. I'm pointing out you're doing it. You see? Helping people is always the right choice. Only if you get it right. You see, you can't give them the wrong answer. If you give them the wrong answer, your karma is affected negatively. Give them the wrong action, your karma is affected negatively. Uh, Beautiful woman stops by. Yeah, hey, it's you and me. Wrong answer. That's not what she was asking. You know, come on. You see, but actually helping people. How do you help people? You give them the truth, because only the truth like gives them the information to make the correct decision. So only the truth help them. Nothing else is helpful. Only the truth is helpful. Nothing else is helpful. That's the only way to help people. Only. Can't tell the truth, you can't be helpful. Period. So all right. I think that's so what does that crown of thorns mean, huh? A ring. Huh? A ring. Like we're in a ring. A loop, right? It's the loop. Hey, I'm here for the pay for you for the loop, right? Should I wear that? Would the blood just coursing down my face get you some any information on what I have to go through to get you this information every week? Would it I don't it wouldn't really show you, but maybe it would be some bit of a reminder. uh yeah, that's what that's for, that image. Hey, how come you don't wear a ring? Yeah, how come? Because what if I were here? Where should I really be, right? But I know, where should it really be, right? Crown of thorns around the heart. That's why you see the crown of thorns around the heart. Yeah, loop around the heart, and a pain that is created from knowing for a fact I'm coming back and you get to go. Yeah, what do you think about that? Okay. That's where I'm different. You see what I'm saying? My heart is different. He comes along and puts it in me, literally. Sorry, Looper. You're staying, but you get my heart. I'm an ultimate looper here. Hey, you're not. You're the ultimate leave the loop. Yep. You end the loop. Yeah. All right. Everybody know where they stand? Let's get into this, huh? About to get into the last eight. 8 of 8. Here we go. And you can do this. Talk about a Stradivarius. You're all tuned up for this. They're nervous because you got the power. Okay? Be patient with yourself and your choices and your actions. If you do, and you know, listen to what God has to tell you, in your heart, you'll make the right decision. You will. If you need any help, I'll help. But I'm just saying, you will make the right decision. Your heart's in the right place. Your knowledge is in there too. You will make great choices. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back, really, and go forward. You're ready for this, okay? Keep your play with maximum intensity, the game, but play with maximum composure. Why? Because it freaks him out. Your maximum composure freaks him out. And that's our goal. Yeah. Yeah. To undo their part of the game and win. We have maximum composure. Yeah. Maximum intensity, same time. Our prayers are our intensity. And we're composed. Why? Because we have God and they don't. They're screwed. That's always the right answer. Are you with me? Jay Baba, yeah, that's right. That's right. They're afraid of us. Why they need to they can project thoughts, they can read why they need all this crap. They can shapeshift, they can do a billion, billion, jillion, miraculous, whatever, because we have a heart. And they need all that stuff to even come close to us. And now it's their last 8 years, they lose bad. Because we're connected to God in our heart. And God is going to back us. Uh, God comes right in the instant. Before the instant, God's just waiting there. Hey, I knew you're gonna have this thing because I set it up and you called my name, so they're screwed. That's how we win. Yeah, you with me? It's that simple, eh? Okay, don't see having this knowledge, your action it becomes extremely simplified. Patient, maximum intensity, maximum intensity, maximum intensity is your prayers. Maximum composure because of your prayers. Hey, I'm coming. I'm at your office. Today's the day. You knew the whole loop I was coming today. Yeah, I'm cool. How you doing over there? Get it done so I don't have to do the death prayer. Da, da, da. Oh, that's very good. See you later. That's what I mean. Maximum composure. That's it. Happy, fine. Maximum intensity. Your prayers never leave a God. Never. What? What? No. You taught me well over there, adversary. I never leave God. They're like, yeah, I see that. Uh-oh. Yeah, get out of here. I used to have some control over you. Now I'm done. Get out of my office. Here's your paperwork. Bye. Do you understand? Do you understand that you're ready for this? Okay. What I'm sending you out. Go play the game. Out you go. Watch the grass is nicely. Yeah, they mowed it last night. Looking good. Out you go. Yeah. Okay. I'm still coach. I'm right here on the sidelines. You can yell at your ass. Let me know what you need. Okay. All right. You're doing great. All right, people. All right. We'll talk more about this next Sunday. Yeah. You're doing great. Thank God you made it to God. Keep going. Okay. God bless you in your journey, your continuing journey. You're doing very well. All right. Patience, maximum intensity, your prayers, maximum composure because of your prayers. Yes? Okay. God bless you all. See you next Sunday.